Hello. Alrighty, well, I did the pajama pants last night and I did the slippers, so now I'm going to go ahead and do the pajama top. And here's the instructions for it. Okay, the first thing I need to do is I need to sew the front to the back. Let me zoom you out a little bit so you can see. Turn you around toward me. Okay. Here's the back piece, which is going to be one solid piece. The front pieces are going to be two separate pieces. Like this. Well, this is what the whole piece looks like on both sides. Okay. I already have it pinned, but anyhow, like this. We'll have it out, you know, this is going to be part of the neck here. Alright, but anyhow, I have it pinned to the shoulders. So first thing you need to do is you need to sew the shoulders together. Oh, I've got to turn you around to the machine. Alright, let's get that. And get you zoomed in so you can see the machine really good. I'm still working on the best angle so you can see everything. Let me get my pin cushion out of the way. Alright, let's see if you can see this way. Let me bring it over. There we go. We'll see if this angle works better. Back stitch. Back stitch. You always back stitch when you get through with an edge or a seam. So you start at one side, you do a back stitch. When you start at the other side, you do another back stitch. Okay, so that's one side, and here's the other side. Make sure you get the pieces lined up real good. Like that. I don't know if you can see or not, but like that. You only need a 1/4 inch seam, which the size of your presser foot will be the 1/4 inch mark. Okay. Now normally, let's see. Alright. Normally it would tell you to iron the seams flat by opening them up. Here we are, by opening them up, but I'm not going to iron because they're so little. I'm just going to do a pressing seam. This is how you finger press a seam. And see, now it's laying flat, just like as if you ironed it. Alright. And don't forget to turn your iron on because you might need to do some ironing later on. So I'm just finger pressing here. Oh, and on the left side of the pajama top, I put an applique. And all you do is just iron it on. That's all you have to do. Okay. And after you do the seams, that's what it's going to look like. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is, let me see. So the collar piece is right side along, two angled and longest sides. Right sides together, two angled and longest sides. Turn right side out. Press and top stitch. Alright. So I didn't number these and put on, yes I did, but it's faded out a little bit. Let's see, what is this one? This is Oh, this says collar lining. Okay, so those are the linings. So what are these, I wonder? So collar pieces T4 and 5. Okay, let's see what this one says. That looks like a T5. Okay, make out what that one says. It does not look like a 4. Got to be, that one says a 5. This has got to be the 4. I guess it is, because this one says T5 on it, and they're both the same size. Okay, that says collar. Okay, well, these are the collars probably. Okay, sew collar pieces right sides together along 2 angled and long sides. Turn right side up, press and top stitch. So what I'm thinking they're talking about is sewing these 2 sides together as one. Then when you open it up, it's going to look like this, and then you sew along 2 angled and longest sides. Okay, I'm going to stop this for a second so I can figure this out. Okay, well, this is what I did. It said to sew the collar pieces along 2 angled and longest ends, turn right side out, press and top stitch. And then it says to press the shirt fronts right side along line where print changes. Match facing along neck edge and sew 2 facings, mark center collar, place along open edge. Okay, so what I did instead of sewing, what I did was I tucked in the edges right here on each end. Well, first of all, what I did was I sewed the 2 pieces like I showed you, you know, the 2 ends together, and then it made one long strip like this. And then what I did was I folded over each of the ends like this, and then I sewed the collar. I sewed the collar to the edge, like right, you know, the edge of this part right here. And then what I did was, it's so hard to show you. Then what I did was I folded it over, and where the seam was, that's where I lined up the collar, and I went all the way down and I sewed it. Alright, so the next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be, you're going to see these, whoops, make sure I get all the pins out. Okay, you're going to see, push back the camera. If you get this panel, you're going to see these 2 edges like this, the pinks parts. So what you're going to do is you're going to fold over, let me show you on the inside, you're going to fold over like this, the pink, and you're going to be leaving this part, because this is the part that's going to be on the outside. This is going to the inside. So they tell you that they want you to iron it. So let me get my dress pins here so I can iron it with the pins in it. I just did things a little different. Instead of having to, you know, turn, you know, after you make the collar right sides together and you sew along and then you've got to pull it all the way out. I did it the other way. I thought it was so much easier. Okay. So, you got 1 inch pinned. So we're going to go ahead and iron it. So I'm going to iron it, and I'm going to do the other side, and then I'll be back. Okay, what I did was I went ahead and folded over like I told you I was going to. Let me get this thread. So I folded over and I ironed. So you've got a nice crisp fold there. Then the next thing I did was got the underside, this is called a facing, by the way. This piece right here that you fold under, this is called a facing. So what I did was I folded over the facing about 1/4 inch, and I sewed all the way around the curving part, and then up here you can see what I did. I folded over the corners, and then I folded over this way. And then I sewed down this way all the way to right here. Okay, and I did the same thing on the other side. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pin from here all the way up. Make sure that you have everything straight. Okay, so what you're going to do is, what I'm doing now, is the top part of that facing, I'm pinning to the under part of the collar. Where I folded down to the inside, I'm pinning right here. Then that way you're not going to see the line where the collar met, the seam line. So you want to just pin right there. Make sure you cover that up. I'm not going to completely follow the instructions because this is pretty easy. So I'm not going to follow the instructions. And what I'm going to do is, I'll show you in a second. After I get this pinned. Get the other side pinned. I have some labels that I put in clothes, you know, like if I make something for my grandchildren or whatever, or myself, and I put it in the back, you know, like you would a regular tag you would see in a garment that you would buy in a store. And so I'm going to be putting one of those on this. I did it on the pajama bottoms, so I could remember which was the back and which was the front. That's one reason why I did it. Now, let me fix this other side here because it's not completely matching up with the seam. Because it needs to match up with the seam. I'm going to show you here in a second what I did, what I'm doing. Okay, now let me do some fixing up here, readjusting. Okay, what I did was I pinned on the inside here up, and then here's the collar, so I pinned over where the collar met the seam, and so I pinned all the way over to the middle here, and then I pinned all the way, and then I didn't pin all the way down, but that's what you need to do. Okay. Alright, I'm going to pin the bottom of where the two pieces meet. Alright, there you go. And so what I'm going to do is when I get through, I'm going to put a label right here, just, you know, for a little decoration. And then when I get through sewing, you know, along here, I'm thinking about putting some kind of a trim here. I have this, where did I put it? That's the slipper. Where did I put it? Oh, there it is. I have this ribbon right here that I put on the pajama pants and the slippers. And I think that would look really nice. So I'm going to be putting that on after I'm through sewing this. Okay, let's get you over to the machine. Get started sewing this. Now you want to sew it where you did the fold, where you iron the fold on. That's where you want to do it. So I've got the right side of my pressure foot lined up with that fold. Get right up on where you lined up the inside of the facing to the collar, right up on the edge, just like you did on the fold. That way you know you're going to catch that in real good, because you don't want that to show or pop open.